today's Memorial Day, and my name is Tori Smith, and I am a witness to children being raped and murdered in what's called the MILAB child trafficking operation. Now, I was also raped there myself. 32 times I was raped alongside children. And one of the men who raped me, his title is called Indiana Attorney General Greg Zoeller. And I would like to talk about the little 5-year-old girl that he raped on Friday, May the 27th. On Friday, May the 27th, I think, 264 children were brought in from 3 sources: Air Force, SOCOM, and NATO. And the child that he raped was a little 5-year-old girl who was eventually brought to Indianapolis as part of a group of 15 children. Now, these 15 children were raped by a group of 57 males 189 times. And they do this every Friday in Indianapolis. And I, am old and bitter, but I think that I'm really the only one who cares in this state about children being raped and murdered. I've been to the police many times, and the last time I reached out for help, instead of allowing me to testify, the Whitley County Prosecutor's Office filed charges against me, and I was in jail within 48 hours after going to them, because I was told that if I wanted to see criminal charges filed against child rapist and child murderer Greg Zoeller, that I had to hire a private attorney to do so. That if I wanted to see the Indianapolis MILAB child trafficking operation closed down, which has been open for 27 years now, that I had to hire a private attorney. Of course, I have no money because I'm disabled, and I have improved my health several times to be able to go off of disability, but once again, they just come back in and re-disabled me. And well, today they use hundreds and hundreds of times a day. They use weapons on me. They inject chemicals into me, 18 biological and chemical weapons. They have this thing where they put viruses, 47 flu viruses created in the MILAB system. They come in and just shoot that into you at once. It's a constant battle. Sometimes it's 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a day that I have to deal with these weapons. So nothing gets done, especially there's really little improvement in my own health. But you know what? This isn't about me. This is about the children, and I want to do everything I can possibly to shut down this child trafficking operation. I just wish there were more people. The Indiana State Police, they rape and murder children every weekend. The Indianapolis Municipal Police Department, they rape and murder children every weekend. There are 4 sheriffs involved in this child trafficking operation. None of these people, well, there's 209 people total involved in this child trafficking operation in Indianapolis, and basically nobody in Indiana cares about children. I don't see any evidence whatsoever. I mean, you say that some things to people, like I spoke to a woman who used to babysit me when I was a child, and she was horrified that this was going on. So I know that probably some people do care, but really no one really cares enough to want to see this place closed down. I just don't believe that. Now, this little girl from Brazil, her name was Matti. She was raped 114 times, and she was murdered by the Indiana State Police officer. I call number 7 because I don't know his name yet. She was raped 16 times in Indianapolis. Now, this mother put this child up for adoption in South America. SOCOM, which is the United States Southern Command, is a major war criminal agency and a major child trafficking agency. And the men who deliver children are paid about $100,000 a month of U.S. taxpayer money. So are the Air Force, many others, NATO. Huge amounts of money are taken from the United States taxpayers and spent on this child trafficking operation. And so, because they're running an ad that says that if they come to America, their health care, their medicine, their housing, their food, and education will all be paid for. And to the mother, she could not, there was just no way she could support her child. She, destitute situation. So her mother actually said, "This is a dream come true." The mother actually, her direct quote about this was, "A dream come true." Of course, she didn't know that the children are just taken and then gang raped and murdered. Matti was a 5-year-old girl, and she loved to play with some of her friends. You know, all children like to play together. And she had a few girls, and they would make believe that they had a big house, and with a big swimming pool. These little girls, this group of little girls, they wanted a big house with a big swimming pool. And they didn't want any boys around because they say boys are stupid and mean. Boy, little did she know how mean they could be. And she was, her mother dropped her off. She was held at a location for 2 days with other children. And then when SOCOM showed up, the first thing they do is drug the children. They give them drinks. It's like Kool-Aid, a sweet little fruit drink with drugs in it. So because when the men rape these children, they have them almost in a comatose state because they don't want the children to scratch or to fight back or anything. And these men consider themselves warriors for being so strong that they can rape 4-year-old girls and 4-year-old boys. Now, and she was in a group of 21 at this location. And then they took her to another location where a larger group was held. And then this group of children, the larger group, where they collected them from several different areas, and then they put them on a plane. And they have this type of, we could call it a cot. It's like a small bed. They have a couple small beds on these cargo planes, and they select the children that they want to rape. And SOCOM always rapes children on the way here. Normally, well, they do it in their locations in South America, but they mostly rape the children on the way here on the plane. And she was raped 31 times on the flight to America by 29 males. And then she was taken to they landed at an Air Force base near Houston, and she was raped repeatedly by the Air Force males. And this is very common. As soon as the plane lands, they pull the children off, and the Bush family would dictate an order to all these men involved, and they say, "I want these children fully loaded." That's exactly what George H.W. Bush used to tell them. "I want these children fully loaded," meaning as many semen deposits as possible into each child. "I want these children fully loaded," a direct quote from George H.W. Bush. And she was raped 66 times by Air Force males, and then she was taken into the MILAB child trafficking system, and she was raped another time by a DARPA male. And then she was sent to the Indianapolis MILAB, where she was raped 16 more times. Now, Greg Zoeller raped this child about 30 minutes before she was murdered by the Indiana State Police. Greg Zoeller was her 112th rape. She was, let me verify real quick, that she was, she was raped. The 5-year-old girl from Brazil was raped 114 times, murdered by Indiana State Policeman number 7. And Greg Zoeller was the 112th time she was raped. And before Zoeller, what he likes to do is almost all the men do. They have the children on table beds, and many times that they line up in front of the children that they want to rape, but they have to be selected to actually murder the child, and almost always they choke the child to death during rape. Now, Zoeller likes to stand around and watch the other men rape little children, and that's exactly what he did on Friday. Before he raped Matti, he likes to watch the other men rape all the other children. So that's how he gets really excited. And personally, I was raped by Greg Zoeller 4 times. And all 4 times, they were pretty much the same. In July of 2015, I was raped by Mike Pence, Greg Zoeller, 2 CIA agents. One's named Thomas and one's named David. Now, both of these CIA agents have a very, very long history of raping and murdering children with Mike Pence. 17 of these children were raped at the CIA agent named Thomas's home in Indianapolis. And all 3 of them have murdered, this group is, because they basically take turns who gets to murder the children. But 17 of them raped by these 3 guys were all killed in a CIA agent named Thomas's house. And then what he would do is, after the child was dead, he would take the child's corpse down into the basement, put it in a tub, and then he would dissolve the child's body with acid. And then, once the child was fully liquidized, he would just basically put it into the Indianapolis sewer system. He'd flush the child down the drain. And I've been saying for years, this is no way to treat children. This is what the United States of America does every day. Every day, anywhere from a few children to hundreds of children, sometimes 400, 500, 600 children a day are gang raped and murdered in America, and nobody seems to mind. The second time I was raped by Greg Zoeller, he was also with Mike Pence, but I was also raped by Douglas G. Carter and 4 of these Indiana State police officers who rape and murder children. I call them number 3, number 4, number 6, and number 7. And this was in July of 2015. Now, Douglas G. Carter is really a really sick man. And, you know, when he raped me, he's raped me 7 times. But he always says, "Oh, you're daddy's little good boy. You're daddy's little good boy. You're such a little boy." And, you know, I'm a 52-year-old man. You know, I'm not a little boy, but it just shows how sick and twisted and perverted these criminals are. Daddy's little good boy. That's so disgusting. It's so horrible to be raped by men who rape and murder children. It's the most vile thing you could ever imagine, having the penis of a man inside of you who rapes and murders children. I don't think there's anything worse on this planet than harming a child. I don't really think there is at all. The third time I was raped by Greg Zoeller, it was with Mike Pence, the CIA agent, again, named Thomas, 3 Indiana State policemen, and also John Licklider, the CEO of Eli Lilly. And the fourth time I was raped by Greg Zoeller, that was in August. And the fourth time I was raped by Mike Pence, it was all 7. The first, it's Indiana State troopers again, Douglas G. Carter, and because what they have is, now there's 18 Indiana State policemen involved in this child trafficking operation, and for a long time there were just 7. And all 7 of these men rape and murder children. And then they added 7 more, I think it was last year, in 2015, that they brought in 7 more officers from the Indiana State Police, and then for some reason now they've added 4 more. But as far as I know, the Indiana State policemen, what I would call number 8 through 18, have only raped children. They haven't murdered children yet, but this is Indiana, so I'm sure they'll be murdering children very soon. But I wanted to bring this attention because I don't think that little 5-year-old girls should be raped at all, let alone 114 times. It must have been an absolute horror for this child to be raped by Greg Zoeller. He's a disgusting, vile criminal, and he needs to be put in jail for the rest of his life. Thank you. Have a nice day.